For this project, I used several different types of yarn, all in kind of whites and grays and a little bit of blue. Some pom-pom making templates that I made out of cardboard, some wood snowflakes that I painted, paintbrush for those, scissors, and a wire wreath frame. So to make the pom-poms, you will need a template, and we have instructions for how to do that on our website. It's just a piece of cardboard. So I cut about an 8 to 10 inch piece of yarn that I put through that little slot in the template. That piece of yarn is what's going to tie the pom-pom together. Then we wrap lots of other yarn around there, trim it off, and that first piece of yarn that we put in, that loose piece, we are going to wrap that around all of that yarn and tie it really tightly as you possibly can. And we're going to tie again, make a double knot. Now we want to keep those little tails, but then cut those wrapped edges. So depending on your scissors, this might take a little while. Then you're going to flip and do the same thing on the other side. Then you can pull that pom-pom off of the template. I like to give it a little shake to kind of fluff all of those little pieces out. Then you can take your scissors and trim off any pieces that seem extra long or just don't fit the shape. Give it a little fluff. And I left those tails long so that I could use them to tie the pom-pom onto the wreath form. So the regular worsted weight yarn makes a pom-pom like that. This sort of wavy yarn makes a pom-pom like this. Again, this is a worsted weight yarn, just sort of your basic yarn, but in gray and with a smaller pom-pom template. And then this is what's called blanket yarn. So it's really soft and makes kind of a fun little pom-pom. And you are going to need a lot of pom-poms. This is a wire wreath frame that is from the dollar store. And I started with those little worsted weight pom-poms and started tying them onto the wreath form. So I used double knots. I didn't trim off my ends right away. But I wish that I had. So you can learn from my mistakes and trim those ends as you go. But you do want to make sure that they're tied on there really well. And I'm using those pieces that went around the center of the pom-pom. If you try to tie it with the short little pieces of the pom-pom, they tend to just pull out of the pom-pom, and then you end up with just a loose pile of yarn, which is not so fun. Then I started filling in some of those bigger, fluffier pom-poms and trying to make sure to space them out so they're not just all clumped in one spot. So periodically I flipped it over to see how it was looking from the front, see what spaces were empty, what needed to be filled in more. I added some gray, and I ultimately added some cream colored pom-poms and some blues. I painted my wood snowflakes with a white pearl paint, and then also added some silver glitter paint. Put a piece of yarn through to tie them on and attach them to my wreath. Here you can see my finished product. Happy creating!